Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the Cornell campus. We are here to look for our beautiful hawks. Hopefully we'll see somebody. Who knows? It is still relatively mild, 41 degrees. The campus seems largely deserted. No surprise. I mean, today is the 15th of December. Not sure when exams end. But if they have not ended already, they will very soon, I'm sure. Up at the end this coming week, I don't know. But you know, it seems during exam periods, it often seems like the campus is much more somber. If you're not studying for exams, you at least feel like, well, I better look like I'm concerned about exams, and then so you know. I realize I've started a little bit early. Made good time. Packing up and arriving. I'm sorry that I seem to have difficulty when we were at Mud Lock just signing off. I mean, I said goodbye and everything, but apparently you guys didn't hear me do that and say that I was signing off. Given the signal there, I'm not really all that surprised. I mean, it was weak. I'm hoping to possibly make an improvement there and in some of the other trouble spots in the future. Just in terms of, you know, the reliability of the live stream. Actually, I tested some equipment the other day. Some of you may have seen that. You know, I've seen my testing. I was trying to work some things out and see if I could improve things. I'd have to say that that particular test was successful. It also revealed to me a potential issue, essentially unrelated, but I learned of a potential problem I have with something. I haven't seen to that yet. That's a different story. I did see what were probably, although I don't know, snow geese out on Cayuga Lake as I drove back. Not a huge flock. And they were quite distant, though, so I didn't even pull over to see if I could look. Quite honestly, I had hoped that maybe as I had hoped that maybe coming back that I would see, you know, the snow geese that we had seen while we were in Montezuma, and maybe that flock that I saw out there represented some of them. I don't know. But I was hoping I'd be really lucky and get a very special sighting, but it just didn't happen. That's just the way it is with bird watching. You don't always get to see what you want to see. I guess that's okay. I mean, maybe I wouldn't want it to be too easy. If it were too easy, I would end up taking it for granted. So maybe I get more out of it, I think, by relying on the occasional luck. I feel that way about the area around my home too. It's not a nature preserve with all sorts of wildlife, but there's just enough activity that I appreciate whatever I happen to see. So, this morning I saw very distantly, and too distant for me to see with the naked eye, but I could see with binoculars or my scope. I had seen a bald eagle from home, and just nice to see it. I still consider it special to be able to see that. Oh, hey! I just saw a hawk. We have to turn around. It's on one of those fence. I wonder if it just landed there, because I'm pretty sure I checked out those posts on the way. As we headed the other way. Let's see if we can maybe get a look at whoever that is. Whoever it is facing away from us, or will be once I return there, assuming it doesn't turn around. And I'd have to say, in a way, that's a good thing, because I don't want whoever that is flying towards the road. Now, where was that hawk? Okay, we can pull over. I think we're okay right here for the moment. Let me give you a quick look with this camera and give you the switch. I'm going to switch, and we'll see if we can get a better look. Granted, it's facing the other way, so there's only so much I can do. And I probably would benefit from backing up just a little bit, but I'm going to leave it right here. This could be Arthur, I'm not sure. Pretty birdie, hi pretty birdie. just a little bit. 1 second. That's good. Getting, believe it or not, a little bit of the distortion every once in a while, but no, it's not too bad. And this is not beautiful light, but it's very good light in terms of seeing detail. So I'm pleased with that. Strap is in the way, of course. So enough. Now, since we have the opportunity, let's take a look at things closely. We're going to move on fairly shortly just because of where we are. So what are we looking at here? He's overlooking a field, and I do believe this is Arthur. Looks like him. As I look around, a few places I can see, I don't see anybody else. See, I think that's good light. That's a nice look at him. I get the feeling he's not going to be there too much longer, although I may be wrong. I know we're not going to be here too much longer. Wouldn't mind seeing him go after something. but over the road. So you didn't see it. Hey. I can't see him. I think he may have gone to the ground. Let's wait here a moment. I can't see him. We've got brush in the way. And also the ground may drop a little. I'm not sure. I can't see the ground. I'm going to move forward. Maybe I'll get a look at the ground where I believe he went. I see him. Oh shoot. Oh, okay. I can't see him now. I don't know where he went. I'm going to switch cameras. Well, I think I know where he is, but I wouldn't be able to give you a look at him from here. So we're going to turn around. And where he is, I'm not sure I'll be able to give you a look from anywhere, without getting out of the car and everything, and I'm not going to do that. So let's turn around up here in our favorite parking lot. See several crows overhead. So obviously, Arthur is hunting. Just by the way the ground and everything works out, and the brush there, I was not able to stay with him at all. And I see him still, and he is on a fence post behind the brush. So we're gonna move on and see if we can. Well, we will continue the search. And I see somebody. Hi, baby. Hello. Who is this? Is this Big Red? Shoot. All right, let me give you a quick look. Hey, baby. All right. Let me see if we can get a close-up look, or a closer look, I should say. The angle is tougher here. Go to get a look at her, a better look than this. I don't like where she's looking, to be honest with you. She's looking at areas on the other side of the road, opposite from her. Although, it's hard to tell if she's puffed up or if her crop is full. So maybe she's not all that hungry, I don't know. I wonder if I could see her better from that parking lot across the street, the vet school parking lot. I'm not sure. This wire so I don't shake the camera. Okay, we're going to move and see if we can get out of the road and have a look at her from another angle. Be able to see her from the parking lot. I don't know. We'll find out soon enough. I'm not sure. Oh, there she is. Too bad. We'll see. Yeah, I think it'll be good actually. Assuming she stays there for us. lightening it just a little. Actually, a fair amount. I hope she's not going to go down there near the road. She might. Now, as for Arthur, I'm going to look with binoculars. I don't believe I can see him from here. No, I can't. I have no idea where he is. He might be on that same post where I last saw him, or maybe he's gone elsewhere. I don't know. Good to see them both, though. That is for certain. You know, this time of year, I mean, obviously the primary focus is just keeping fed. Oh, wait a minute, do I see? What do I see? Nothing. Never mind. So I think, you know, she's just relaxing, although I think she's on the lookout for anything that might be worth eating. And we saw that he was actively hunting. And maybe we'll move on to Sapsucker Woods pretty soon. Getting heat shimmer. Some of that could be from my car, actually. I don't know. We are zoomed in quite a bit. Anyway, like I said, it's good to see her, and it's good to have seen him. You know, it's December 15th, and, you know, the way December goes by, the month will be over before you know it. We'll be into January, maybe more wintry than by then, but
won't be long before we start, like I've said in prior weeks, won't be long before we start wondering about nesting activity. Won't be in January, but I don't remember if we'll start to see some activity in February, maybe. I think it's a definite possibility. Fair number of Canada geese are in the air right now. You can hear them if I shut up. I wish we had been able to see all those snow geese. That would have been wonderful. But I think it's time we headed for Sapsucker Woods. Might be. Battery on this camera is almost dead anyway.
Okay, let's head that way. Hi, baby. Good to see you. I don't just say this, I consider it lucky to see her, anytime. Just want to see if I can catch another glimpse of Arthur, if he's in this area. I see him on a different post now, but he's looking the other way. We're gonna continue on. Oh, that may be the same post, actually. We're just going to continue on towards Sapsucker Woods. I believe that was the same post. And one that would be difficult for us to see him on without getting out of the car and setting up somehow, possibly frightening him. So like I said, I consider it lucky to find them at all, and considering all the places they can go on the campus. Obviously consider it a good thing to, I feel fortunate to see them. I've enjoyed watching and seeing red-tailed hawks for a number of years now. And I can recall, even before I ever came to Sapsucker Woods, for instance, I'd see a hawk near my, near home or whatever, and it'd just be neat to see. Oh my goodness, this hawk is up there on a utility pole, and I didn't know as much about hawks back then. I'd even kind of wonder, and it seems foolish now, but even kind of wonder, is this going to swoop down on me or something, or who knows? In my defense, I've had a red-winged blackbird swoop down on me on a number of occasions, and but anyway, I've appreciated them for quite a long time, but to be able to see them like this, to actually, get to know individual birds a bit, or at least if I can't say I know them, I at least know what they're, you know, what they look like and everything, and I can identify them. It's kind of special, and not something I expected to ever happen, you know, way back when. Think about it, it's not just you know, seeing these two hawks even. I mean, it's we see a whole life cycle. You know, we go through a year, and if we're lucky enough that to have them, to watch them as they have young. I mean, it's just it's really special if you think about it. You know, most of the time, and for most people, even if, I'm not saying actual bird watchers, but maybe just people who are, you know, casually observant, they may see a bird and they know that, okay, you know, it was hatched in a nest. Okay, fine, you know, but they certainly don't get to see things like we do, where we actually follow along. And, you know, I'm grateful that the lab provides that opportunity, and I'm very grateful for the fact that, you know, once the lab's camera work is essentially over, you know, the nest camera, that I can do what I do. By the way, earlier when I was at the lab, I did see mallards outside. I don't remember if did I see Canada geese? I don't know. Oh, what do I see here? Flock of Canada geese. Might as well show them to you. Okay, and more Canada geese. I mean, they're not huge flocks, but that's a significant flock overall. I wonder if they're headed to the lake. Actually, quite a few. I don't know if you can see them, but there are, you know, more ahead of us. And just by the way they look and everything, I would guess, you know, in terms of their formations and everything, I can only guess, but I would guess that they are actually migrating. Maybe they're going into the lake for a rest or elsewhere for a rest. It's never easy, obviously, to distinguish between, migrating Canada geese and local geese that are just going from one place to another. Sometimes if you see them up pretty high and in formation and, you know, flocks of a decent size, I'm guessing, but I think it's an indication that, you know, they're migrating geese. out-of-towners. Anyway, I saw mallards. I can't remember if I saw any Canada geese. I don't believe I did. I might have. And I definitely, as I actually not quite at, well, I would technically say it was sapsucker woods, but not at the lab, did see a red-tailed hawk. It was near the intersection of Sapsucker Woods Road and Route 13. Just seen a hawk, but off to our left, I couldn't be positive. It looked like it might have been one. No idea what the coming week's weather will be, so I don't know if I'm going to go up to Montezuma again. If I were to go, it probably, I don't imagine I've ever been up there so late in the year. And we did see those eagles, which was nice to, they were nice to see, but we didn't see much else really. Oh, we saw the pileated, but I would have liked to have seen it closer. next week, you know, the days will be just about as short as they ever get for us. And then they start getting longer. So, you know, keep a positive attitude. See, like, we're passing by, I didn't show it to you, but we're passing by a secondary pond, and it's largely covered with ice, although it looked like there were a couple small, very small areas that, you know, the ice was broken through or melted through. Same thing with the little body of water to our left. So I'll need, you know, just a couple minutes to I always want to see more, but I still like what we've seen today. Now, some days I don't want to see just more, but a lot more. And today is the day when I want to see a lot more. But I have to deal with reality. You know, I have to admit, I'm sure there are times when we could see more, but it's either I make the wrong decision in terms of where to go, or I just don't do a good enough job catching sight of something for some reason, or maybe I'm too hasty and looking over an area. Who knows? Like from East Road, maybe there was a lot to see. Maybe it wasn't just Canada geese and a few swans. Maybe there were, I don't know, some other geese in there, maybe white-fronted geese or something. Okay, all right. Give me my phone. Not sure what I'm hearing. We are just about ready. Hopefully the wires aren't tangled. I'll leave some behind that I'm not going to use. and I welcome you to Sapsucker Woods. Hold on, I want to move my phone so it's easier to get. I wish it were just a little warmer so I wouldn't have to wear this hat, which covers my ears. So I'm hearing some birds. I'm not sure what they are. I may be hearing starlings, actually. Although I didn't see any as I drove in. They may be around. Let's go. We have some time, but not a lot of time, so. When I was here earlier, okay, I may have just heard a hairy woodpecker or a downy. Maybe I'm hearing a tufted titmouse? I see some. Hold on one second. I'll look with binoculars. Looks like mourning doves, several of them. We'll maybe get a look in a moment. It's quiet here overall. You know, you're not hearing a lot of blue jays vocalizing or anything like that. Chickadees. The mourning doves are up here. And I just thought I saw something closer here. And chickadees. At least two of them. Now, I don't know if it's because of me or the other people who are here, or if something else is nearby, causing all the alarm calls. Those are alarm calls. When they chickadee-dee-dee-dee-dee. My understanding of those are alarm calls. That's a female cardinal there. Isn't she cute? Now, on a day like today, you know, not much snow on the ground. There's some, certainly, here and there, but nothing significant. You know, maybe the feeding garden is less important in terms of, you know, being a source of food for the birds. So who knows if there's as much activity here. Probably not quite as much.
anything else nearby? Is there a reason for all the alarm activity? Are they truly alarms? I don't know. I think so. And it could be because of me for some reason, but I would think that around here there are enough people that go through. Let me look out there, by the way. You can see, as I said earlier, most of the pond is covered with ice. And we saw the mallards there by the the ice-free area that is kept open by the bubblers. But there's not much else going on as far as I can tell. Does that mean there's nothing going on? No, it does not mean that at all. I don't know what we can see or where we'll end up seeing it. In terms of snow, maybe I could have gotten by without boots today. But I think for warmth, they're nice to have. And you can see, like here anyway, of course this is a highly trafficked part of the trails. But you can see there's no snow on the trails here. We saw some back there a little bit. I'll look at one thing, 1 second. Okay. Beneath my feet, it feels like the very top layer of mulch has some give to it, but beneath it is, it seems like it's pretty solid, so that may be pretty well frozen beneath. So we're not exactly walking on mush. And it's kind of nice. I wish we just had some birds to be concerned about frightening, but it's actually very quiet to walk on. You know, there's no snow to crunch. The leaves that are on the trail are all, you know, fairly well saturated and not dry and crunchy at all. Hello. Hello. Very friendly. So I'd have to say that so far this has been a very unexciting visit to Sapsucker, but you know, given the time of year and the conditions, maybe it's not surprising. You might say, you know, again, conditions. What's wrong with the conditions? I'm reminded of that mild winter years ago. And you know, the birds just seemed hard to find. They were around, but just not concentrated around areas like the feeding garden. Now, you know, we didn't go to the pheasant farm today. I guess we could have. I just heard a nuthatch. White-breasted nuthatch.
I'd say at least 2 of them. They don't seem very close, but they're there. Anyway, you know, I don't know if we would have seen much at the pheasant farm, for instance, today. If I had to guess, based on, you know, the patterns we've seen over the years, I would guess that there wasn't much to see in terms of hawks. But I could be wrong, obviously. A couple squirrels right here. Right there. Hold on 1 second. Looks like bird seed here, so different kind of feeder. What a surprise that the squirrels are there. We're obviously on the other side of the road now. And quite honestly, I don't know if I have enough time to really do a nice walk here. We'll move along. You never know, we might see something. Maybe when we return, we'll head directly towards the pond rather than take like the long way around. It all depends on how things are going. You know, we might not see anything over here. And with the pond frozen, as I showed you, might not see much at all anywhere. But it's nice to come over here for a while, for a change. We haven't been here in a while. Somebody's making noise. Might be still within piece. Whatever it is, I don't see it. There's a small bird, but we don't know what it was. Okay, moving on. This time of year, you know, in winter, I mean, sure, there might be the occasional rarity or something. I mean, you do see sparrows also, but in terms of small bird sparrows, black-capped chickadees, white-breasted nuthatches, tufted titmice, the various woodpeckers, including downy, hairy, pileated, northern flicker, red-bellied also. You might see, if you're lucky, a brown creeper on a tree. Obviously, we see mourning doves around. We might see the occasional robin. Certainly see cardinals and here and there. The sparrows. I think you see. Definitely see. I think you see white-throated sparrows and American tree sparrows. Oh, can't forget dark-eyed juncos. You might see house finches and American goldfinches. Of course, there are hawks and owls around. I don't see the owls all that often, and lately here we haven't seen that many hawks, but we see them every once in a while. Canada geese, mallards, maybe American black ducks. So, those are, all the usual suspects, really. The ones you're most likely to see when, in a visit during winter here. What happened here? Interesting it is. Well, it caused some damage, apparently, to the bridge. But I mean, here you see on one side it's been cut, and it looks like the tree fell over. And then I'm surprised at how little damage there is to the bridge itself. But I don't know if it fell on the bridge. I don't know. I think I'm hearing, is it a hairy or a downy? So anyway, as I was saying, those are the birds you might expect to see, and you might say, okay, well, if that's it, other than the special sighting of one sort or another, and if that's it, why bother coming? Well, first of all, you might appreciate those species, but as I've said before, if you're here for photography purposes or whatever, you might just, because of the winter conditions, maybe there's snow around or just bare branches or something, maybe you get a look that you don't get at other times in the year, and it's the look of a lifetime. You never know. I always think of this one photo I took years ago. It was just of a black-capped chickadee, and it was in a either a tree or some shrubs. I think it was a small tree, and no leaves, so just bare branches. And I was watching it as it was going about its business, looking for food there. And I was taking stills at the time, still photos.
and just, you know, snapping pictures as best I could. And one of the pictures I liked the best of that little batch had the chickadee just jumping straight up, or looking as if it had jumped straight up. So caught it in midair as it was going from one branch just up to another. And it just was a nice look. I always think of that because, you know, we see chickadees here year round. And again, you might think, oh, what's the big deal? But, you know, in spring that photo might not have been possible. And maybe the lighting would have been different too. So, you know, it's just, like I said, there are reasons to come here all year round, and you can get a special look at any time of year, really. I'll admit, though, if today had been, let's say, you know, rainy and gloomy, well, no thanks. You know, I talk about all this, and I think most of you know this already, but if you don't, you know, I'll tell you again, and I'm the first to admit it, I'm no expert on any of this, and I'm not even necessarily a particularly good birder, certainly compared to people who work at the lab, and just a lot of people who are, you know, they've gone to the trouble of learning their birds better, maybe looking at things more patiently. You know, they go to an area and they examine every inch with their scopes. And I do things differently. I guess you could say, despite all the time I put into bird watching, you know, I'm a casual bird watcher. I'm not one who's particularly knowledgeable, or in a way I'm serious about it, but I guess I'm not serious enough to learn more sometimes. I guess in a way I'm serious about, and I'm not trying to be funny here, I'm serious about you know, bringing casual bird watching to maybe casual bird watchers. You know, people who are like me in terms of maybe general knowledge of birds and just what it's like to go bird watching, and you know, maybe that's how I should describe what I do. Ugh. I didn't just step in something. That sounded like a hairy woodpecker that I just heard. It's getting dark, so I should get moving a little bit faster, maybe. A little bit of snow here. I have come over here on this side in winter quite a few times over the years. Maybe less often, you know, since the tour started. Although we've been here and we've seen some interesting things, whether it was birds or even interesting patterns in ice, things like that. But I mean, this side is not really strange to me in winter. So it's not just because of the relatively mild conditions that we're here, but today the mild conditions and the ability to move very quickly because there's so little snow on the ground, and just what time we seem to have left, I thought I'd come over here. Although, like I said, it's getting dark. Obviously, bird-wise, we're not seeing much. Somebody's tapping. I hear a bird, probably a woodpecker. Probably not a pileated. Maybe the hairy that I heard moments ago. Don't see it yet. I don't know if I'm going to see it. Judging by how rapid the tapping is and how light it sounds, that's why I don't think it's a pileated, for instance. It's probably a hairy or a downy. Oh, I see it. I don't know if I can get you a look. No, we'll try here. Looks like a hairy. Hey. We have to move on. We don't have much time. That identification was fairly easy for me. I don't always have an easy time of it, but we could see the bill relative to its head was larger than it would be for a downy woodpecker. The downy is a smaller bird overall also, but you know, unless they're side by side, it can be hard to judge relative size. There are many people, going back to what I was saying about my own lack of knowledge, there are many people who could point out many of the differences, you know, not just the bill, but other things about, you know, hairy woodpecker versus downy woodpecker. And, you know, I don't know all those, but and I probably never will know all those. And I don't dismiss knowledge of that. It can be very handy, especially if, for instance, let's say you're seeing a bird and it's facing away, and there's no way you'll ever see the bill. That's why learning and knowing the other characteristics can be helpful. I'm not sure if I'm hearing something at a great distance in the air or not. Probably not. I'm not even going to walk over there like I normally would coming here, because the pond here is essentially frozen, as you can see. Sounds like another, I believe, hairy woodpecker. I really should learn the difference between those two calls. Hairy versus downy. It's not completely frozen though. I mean, here's some liquid water here at the edge. I wasn't just curious to see what we might see over here on this side of the road. I was hoping that just the longer walk through the woods would, I don't know, have us seeing something great. Never know what, but so far we haven't seen anything really remarkable. Or I should say out of the ordinary. Birds, after all, are pretty remarkable if you think about it. I mean, I certainly can't live in cold conditions like this, find food like they do, fly, worry about my safety and security 24/7. Getting dark, definitely, so we have to move right along. Despite the longer walk, I have a feeling we're really not going to see much here today, other than the scenery. We're going to head more directly back to the pond, just because of time. It really would have been great if the snow geese had landed for us to see them from East Road. Or, even better, if they had landed in one of the places, you know, if they had landed on Cayuga Lake in one of the locations where we could see them well, I would have restarted the broadcast as I was coming back. I just saw some movement here. So as I was saying earlier, reviewing the calendar, you know, we're in mid-December right now, and it'll be a while, obviously, you know, March, April, before things pick up in terms of noise level here. But it's quiet right now, but I kind of look forward to some of the noises we'll hear in the spring. Canada geese, red-winged blackbirds. Might hear Canada geese now. And as sometimes the frogs. Those are wonderful sounds of spring. I have to admit, I'm not really looking around all that well. I think when it comes to something like a brown creeper, I'm just hoping to catch movement, so I'm not examining every tree trunk. When we're here walking at Sapsucker, I, rely on sound quite a bit. Even now, with the leaves fallen and the trees bare, it's hard to see things, especially if they're, on the opposite side of a tree. Just a branch or the tree trunk itself. Rely either on the sound of the bird itself, or in the case of birds of prey, usually rely more on the alert calls or sounds of other birds or squirrels and chipmunks. There's a squirrel making noise. I thought I heard something else. I wonder if there's a pileated nearby. There might be. It's dark. It's hard for me to see, and but I thought I heard some tapping. maybe not. Okay, well, we don't have the time to really wait. You know, given the conditions and everything, especially this time of year, I might wonder, did I make the right choice in going to Montezuma? And, you know, we might not have seen all that much up there. We did see those eagles, which I kind of like seeing. Maybe I should have climbed the tower overlooking Wildlife Drive. Maybe that would have been a good idea. I don't know. Just didn't want to spend the time doing that if I was just playing percentages, really. But anyway, I have to say, when I was here earlier today, things did just, granted, I didn't walk around, just went inside the lab and then left. I just got the sense that things were quiet. Even, I took a brief glimpse into the feeding garden. Even that didn't seem all that active, at least at that very moment. So, for instance, if we had stayed here in town, it might not have been a good idea. There are other places to go, and we'll be going to them, I think, soon. I know some people don't really care for the pheasant farm, and I can understand why. But we'll be going there probably, but not just there. I'm hoping to go to Stewart Park, and maybe we'll go to Myers Point. Maybe we'll go elsewhere also, I don't know. Stewart Park and Myers Point both present challenges in terms of staying connected. But, who knows, maybe we'll be able to overcome those challenges. I hope so. Sometimes things have been okay at those locations, sometimes they've been terrible. But anyway, I might be able to improve things a little bit. Maybe not a lot, but a little bit, maybe. We'll see. No guarantees. I have to admit, I have not been using the booster lately for a couple of reasons. One of them, I'm not all that convinced it really did much. Anything. That sounded like a child just squealing. Yeah. Kids. I don't know if you're seeing this, but now you might be. As I indicated, things are kind of frozen over here too. Probably not much to see here. Nope. Okay.
the text. Let's see what's going on. Stream is down. Is the stream down or is it just blue screen? Let me see if I can find out. Okay, I guess we're back.
Screen.
Yes, okay, we're back. We are back, and I'm going to continue with my walking and mumbling. Okay. I'm not exactly sure what happened. Well, I kind of know what happened. I don't know why it happened. We're obviously almost done with the walk anyway. Not much going on here. And you know, I have to admit, it can be like that here in at Sapsucker in the wintertime. And you know, granted, it's still early winter. Technically, it's not even winter. But you know, when you have conditions like this, you know, obviously there are fewer birds around, just given the time of year. And the snow is not around to really concentrate birds near the feeders. Then things can be a little less exciting. And you know, there's the pond itself is pretty much covered with ice, except for, you know, the area near the lab. So there's less of a reason for the birds to really be around and in view and in good numbers. And as I've explained before, and as you probably have figured out on your own, even the birds of prey, granted they don't use the feeders, they might go after the birds that are at the feeders. I think I just heard a cardinal. Let me just look around. I see the mallards near the lab, or at least some mallards. Nobody else though. Okay, we're going to continue walking. I wonder about that great blue heron that I saw this morning. If it's the same one I've been seeing, not every day, but fairly regularly. There's within my view from home, there's a little bit of water. And sometimes it does freeze over, or at least gets crusted over with ice. But apparently there must be enough open areas to it, and it's not even in the middle of spring, there's not that much water there.
but must be tempting for that, tempting enough for that heron. I hope it's finding food there, and I hope that if it's not, it knows enough to move along and head south. I guess overall I'd say it's a bad thing that we made such good time with this extended walk. It means we didn't see much. Okay, we're at the Fuller wetlands, and you can see things are pretty well frozen, or at least crusted over. So I have my doubts that we'll see anything here. Believe it or not, I'm kind of starting to overheat a bit. Just the walking at decent pace with the heavy coat I'm wearing, gloves and hat, has warmed me up. We can walk back to the water of the main pond. I doubt we'll see much, but you never know. We didn't see much the first time around, but I just want to look at something. Okay, nothing as predicted. Really one of the quieter walks we've had here, if you think about it. Not much to be seen at all. Heard a few things. Not much. Now, even Canada geese, you know, without much open water there, if geese are looking for a spot to roost, stay the night. The pond is not really a very good one. Things are just frozen over. They would prefer just open water. So anyways, it's not surprising at all that there aren't any geese here. Still, it's nice to see them in the winter time. You know, if there's snow around and they make use of the open area, you know, kept open by the bubblers. They look beautiful against the snow. I think we're just about out of time, or at least out of birds. Things are even quieter here than they were before. At least before we heard the chickadees, but nothing else really going on here now. Now, if the mallards are still over there, as I suspect they are, I won't want to frighten them. I think this is it for the day. And I think I'm due to head back to the car. Well, we might not have seen all that much today, but I hope you enjoyed the tour anyway. I did. At the very least, I know if I had, for instance, stayed home, I'd wonder what I would have missed. I have not at all checked the forecast for the coming week. I think I said this already. So I have no idea what things are going to be like next week. I mean, for all I know, we'll have several inches of snow here next week. And if that's the case, things will be very different. I'd rather not have the snow. I'd rather have it be easy for the birds to find food and everything. But if I were selfish, I'd say I kind of want it so that I can, you know, maybe have a better chance of seeing the birds. You know, around the feeding garden, etc. But again, I'm not going to be selfish. Besides, it's nice not having to walk in snow. Everyone, I think we're
closing up shop for the night. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed the tour today. And I hope you will enjoy the holiday season. Have a chance to look out the window or take a walk or drive somewhere and do some bird watching on your own. Until then, and we will see you all next time. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.